Well, I didn't get much done here on the Jeep yesterday because I did nothing. So last place I left on is I got the timing chain in place and the tensioner sort of where it's supposed to be. I haven't set it yet. Today is Valentine's Day, February 14th, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Here is our pile of stuff that we're going to try to get done today. I got a new thermostat. This is the timing chain cover gasket. This is the new timing chain. This is our new water or thermostat housing. And this is our new idler pulley, whatever you want to call this, drive pulley. So I need to clean up these bolts with the wire wheel. We've got a nice clean mating surface, unlike the one we had, which I threw somewhere. I've already lost it. Oh well. The other one was garbage anyway. Oh, it's right here. Here we go. You can see how scratched it is, and when I put it on the motor, it doesn't sit flat. It rocks back and forth. So this mating surface they sanded it with something, probably a wire wheel. So we're gonna go ahead, and I did get a little bit of RTV. Now usually I put the RTV on the part that bolts to the motor and not the motor side, because the motor side should be nice and flat, so you should have a nice clean surface. And when I do it, I just put a little silicone here just to make sure that there's any imperfections, that they seal good. Same with the oil pan, which is laying over there. We still need to clean. The gasket for that came in today as well, so don't know if I'll get to the oil pan today, but I should be able to get at least all this stuff done. I am still waiting for the new harmonic balancer to come in. It's supposed to be delivered today, so I might be able to get that on today too. We'll have to see. I do still need to torque the cam bolt to, I believe it's 80 pounds. I gotta double check that. I do know that the crank one's 80 pounds. I believe that they're same size bolts, so they should be the same. And I do need to drag out my vacuum and just kind of clean up all the loose debris here before I get too far into this. All right, so cleaning up bolts and getting the vacuum. All right, so we got our gasket on there. We've cleaned up the bolts. This bolt here is pretty ratted out. You can see where all the rust is, or was. Probably need to replace that at some point. I'll need to go to the hardware store, new thermostat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this put on the vehicle. All right, so the thermostat housing and the pulley are in. Now this pulley is I guess replacement pulley. So it is shaped a little different. So this has got a much deeper recess than this, and the factory spacer, whatever you want to call this, does not fit down inside there, but this does come with a replacement one, so this will not fit. You just have to use the one that comes in the kit if yours is different. So be aware that aftermarket parts are not 100% the same. All right, so that pretty much leaves us at the timing chain. We're 100% sure, I think, that we got these lined up correctly. I've double checked it, triple checked it, quadruple checked it. It looks like we are in line, so we do still need to set this, and we're going to prep the cover right now, see about getting it in place real quick. Okay, so this is our brand new shiny cover. It does not have that weird piece sticking off. Like I said, I'm going to update my intake manifold and pulley system to a TJ, so I needed that gone anyway. But other than that, the covers are exactly the same. This is a new one. It comes with a new seal. The part number I got was this, and the gasket cover I ordered is this one. And I didn't know this at the time, but this gasket cover came with a saver and a new seal, so I can keep that. But here is the gasket. Here's some RTV silicone, and there's some red Loctite to put the saver in if you're going to use the saver. So, but I'm not doing that. I'm putting a new one on. So, all right, let me get the gasket in place, and we'll try to get it onto the motor. All right, so I just put a little bit of sealant on the aluminum side just so that it tacks everything in place. I'm not going to put any on the motor side. This way, if I have to take it back off, it won't tear up the gasket, especially if I have a leak or something I have to deal with. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to let that tack up for a few minutes, and then we will start putting that on. So the bolts I'm going to install first are these small ones that are 3/8. We have one long one. I believe it goes in one of these two holes. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever. I believe it's this last one. So there's 6 of those. We're going to get those started and get those in. And then we'll worry about putting those weird top ones in. Okay, so I got the 6 small ones in. They're just finger tight. And the longest one was the last one on the driver's side here. So all the rest of ones are short, and that one's the long one. They're sort of in there now. On a couple of videos I saw people talking about inserting the harmonics balancer back in to make sure that this is centered. But I believe that once you get these bolts in, you shouldn't have to worry about it. I've never done it the other way. And regretfully, my harmonic balancer isn't here right now, so not much I can do about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And if the seal leaks, well, then I'll loosen it back up and readjust it later. All right, so I got the 2 weird ones, and they go there and there. Those are all finger tight. The other ones, the one that we had to take the alternator off, that one and these 2 are all the same size, but these 2 thread in, and this is the one that goes through, and you have the nut on the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and snug the smaller ones down first. We've got these other ones in place, so everything should be in line, and then we can finish tightening all those up. So what did I say these were? The small ones are 3/8. So we'll go ahead and get those on there. All right, so we got all the 3/8 snugged down as tight as we want to take them. So the next thing we did were these 3/15s, and so I did these 2 first, and I did this one last of those 3/15s, putting a socket on the back side and a socket on the front side. Tighten this thing down so the alternator can go back in place. Now we just have these 2, and I believe these are 16s to tighten down, and that will be the cover part. So we'll get the alternator in next. I have a new setup for this because I'm going to run the electric fan with a switch here. So it should still read on the dash the temperature, plus it has a thermostat that's going to kick on the fans when I need it. So we're going to go ahead and leave that open for right now. So next is these last 2 bolts, and then we'll put the alternator back in place. All right, so as I was tightening these up, this 16 that's at the top, for some reason, did not want to go all the way down to the metal. Either once I tightened it up, it left a little bit of a gap, so I found a couple of washers to stick in there. I did swap the 2 to make sure that it wasn't, I had the wrong bolt in the wrong place. It's not that issue. Not sure, maybe the casting's a little different, but a couple washers was all it took, and now everything's good. So everything is tight. We can go ahead and put the alternator in, and then we can figure out what we're going to do next. So let me get the alternator back in. So I forgot to mention this. When you're putting the timing chain back on, make sure you put that oil splasher thing back in front of the lower crank timing chain gear. It's supposed to face out towards the front of the motor. So got the 2 bolts in the alternator. Don't forget, if you unplugged this guy like I do, so it gives you some room, make sure you plug that back in. So that's all done. So this is the crank pulley spacer, goes in front of the crank once that's there. So it looks like most of the motors are back together. We can go ahead and I'm going to clean up this pulley real quick, and then I'm going to slap that back on there. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so got the pulley cleaned up and put back on. I didn't paint it or anything like that. I just got all the extra rust off of it. So we have the alternator in place. Everything is in and tightened down. So that's all good. So we're just waiting for the pulley. Like I said, I have the gasket, but I got to clean the pan. Once I get those 2 things done, then I can put the pan back on. I did put the chain tensioner in the unlock position before I put the cover on. So yeah, we're pretty much done with that. The weather looks like it's gonna start changing. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, but I believe I'm done for now. I need to hunt down a squirt bottle so I can clean the oil pan. So I'll just get some video or photos of the pan once it's clean, and clean up my tools, so in case it does rain, I can just go back inside. Alright, so the 2 things I'm going to use to try to clean this oil pan up is some of this wonderful Awesome, and get it from the dollar store, and I've got a mixture of Simple Green. So I'm just going to spray this down and use a scrub brush to get as much of this gunk off as I can, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I don't know if you can see how dirty this end is compared to how nice that end is, but I've been working on it for about 15 minutes or so. I put a little of the Awesome in the oil pan there, and using it straight and using the Simple Green just to keep everything lubricated. And yeah, it's coming off pretty easy, pretty clean. I'm not going to paint the pan or anything. I just want to get it kind of degreased. When I'm done, I'm going to flip it over and do the gasket surface as well. That way it's all nice and clean. But yeah, so let me get back at it. As you can tell, I'm getting tired. I'm getting winded. Okay, so I got the whole outside of the pan done. I need to take a break anyway for a minute, and then we'll finish the inside and be done for the day. Okay, so I got the gasket surface cleaned. I got the outside of the pan cleaned. We're going to call this a day, and I can go pick up the harmonic balancer from the post office. And tomorrow, if it's not raining, I can put the harmonic balancer and the oil pan back in, and then we can start putting the radiator and everything else back in place. Thanks for watching.